everyone, I'm Megan and welcome to my channel. So today I'm bringing to you my go-to foundation routine for oily skin. This is what I do when I want my makeup to stay looking fresh and good and just freshly applied for as long as possible. I have been playing around with these products for a couple of months now, and I think I have finally found the perfect concoction to make it last a long time. So this is going to be more of high-end products. I am planning and I'm testing out products from the drugstore so we can have a high-end option and then a drugstore option. So if you're excited to see what my go-to foundation routine is for oily skin, then just go ahead and keep on watching. Hey guys, so I am just going to start out. I have not put my primer on. This is something very important. If you want your makeup to last all day, especially if you have oily skin, you cannot skip primer. Primer is such a huge, important factor in the overall scheme of making your makeup last. So I really wanted to show you what I do when I want my makeup to last all day. When I know I'm going to be gone from the house, 10 to 12 hours, and I want to look, I want my makeup to look good. I want it to hold up against the weather and against this oily mess. So I have been testing this out for a couple of weeks and it's not failed me yet. So that's why I wanted to come in on here and share with you guys what I have found that works the best with my skin type, which is extremely oily. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the primer on the face, and then I'll explain to you why I feel like it works really well for me. So the primer that I've been loving here lately, it's not the gripping primer, however, y'all know I love that one. This is the new Instant Matte Pore Refiner Primer. It looks like this. Comes in a little, standard gold box from YSL. And I'm just going to go ahead and get this on the skin, let it sit on there for a minute. And it's got kind of like a peachy pink tint to it. And I'm just going to rub it all in. And it's always a good idea to let your primer sit on your face and let it kind of set down before you go in with foundation. I feel like that really makes a huge difference. So that's why most of the time in my videos, I just go ahead and put my primer on, let it sit for as long as I can before I go in with foundation. So this one, it's got a little bit of tack to it. So I think we're good. I've got that on. Now, I wore this with, of course, the YSL All Hours foundation, which is what I'll be using today, and they just work magically together. I remember I did the same routine, which I'm getting ready to show you guys, and by the end of the day, I looked in the mirror, my pores looked great, my skin, I wasn't that shiny, I was just blown away. So anyhow, this primer is brand new. It is sold at Sephora, and I'm sure you can get it at Nordstrom or wherever YSL beauty products are sold. Okay, so it is called the Top Secret Instant Matte Pore Refiner. So it is supposed to refine your pores, fill them in, but of course we're going to go in with a pore filling primer. I always do that just because I do have larger pores, especially in this area right here. So it's $34. So for YSL, that's really not too bad. And it's got almost 5 stars with 120 reviews on Sephora's website. It is an ultra light mattifying cream for fresh, poreless, and ultimately comfortable skin. It's for normal, dry, combination, oily, and the skincare concerns are oiliness and pores, which is right up my alley. And those are my two major concerns when it comes to my skin. So it works with salicylic acid to reduce the look of pores and leave an instant matte finish. And discover YSL's blotting paper in a tube. The formula creates a matte, poreless finish that feels comfortable and lasts all day, with or without makeup. Pores seem less visible day after day. After a month of application, skin texture appears more refined. So I actually didn't know that there are like skincare benefits in here, that after you wear it for so long, you will actually start seeing a difference in your skin. So I will definitely be checking that out and keeping a look at my skin and seeing if it really does work. So, the pore filling primer I'm going to be using is the Dr. Brandt Pores No More. And I know this is a pricey primer. However, There are some that are just as good as this one. The Cover FX gripping primer is, the Cover FX blurring primer, it works just the same. It's really, really good. I just find I used this in that video too, Shop My Stash, I think, and I fell back in love with it. So I'm going to be using that today just to put in my T-zone area. But Benefit Professional is really, really good. There's one at the drugstore, that Maybelline Blur Stick that I used in my last drugstore video is a really, really nice pore filling primer. And another tip when putting a pore filling primer on is you don't want to rub it. You want to mash it. You want to press it down into your skin so it's actually going to fill in and blur those pores. So that's why you don't see me like I do with my mattifying primers. And just do this wherever you feel, your pores were a little more accentuated. Alright, so now I have let the pore filling primer sit on my skin for a minute. So now we're going in with foundation. And I know y'all have heard me rave about this so many times, but this is the YSL All Hours foundation. And I have this in the shade BD50, and I could probably actually go a little darker. As soon as I put it on, it looks really light, but this foundation does oxidize, so just keep that in mind if you do plan on picking this up. But you guys, this is such a beautiful, beautiful foundation. I cannot rave about it enough. I was stuck on the Beauty Blender foundation for the longest time, and then I was like, I went back to this one, and I've just been stuck on it. I wore it every single day for probably the past 3 weeks, unless I was testing a foundation. So I'm just going to get a few pumps out, and this is a little pricey for a foundation, but I'm telling you guys, you don't have to wear it every single day. Just get it or just get a sample and try it out and see what you think. I guarantee you're going to love it. It's so good. It's been out for a while, but it's $54, and there are several shades in this foundation. There's the shade range. It could definitely be better, especially with Pure coming out with 100 shades, It's like, all right, brand, step it up now. But anyhow, so I've got it in BD50, and that is described as tan with golden undertones. And you'll see when I start putting it on, it looks really light, but then eventually it warms up to my skin. So this foundation has got 4 stars on Sephora's website with 1,100 reviews. And it is a 24-hour natural matte finish, natural matte foundation with buildable coverage that blurs pores and fine lines for a flawless wear that looks just applied all day. And it's for normal, combination, and oily skin. However, I think if you have dry skin, if you maybe mix a little bit of oil in with it or just really hydrate your skin before, I think you'll be fine. This is definitely not a flat matte or a drying matte formula. So my preferred way of applying this foundation is, of course, with the Beauty Blender. I feel like it really just presses the foundation down in my skin and my pores and just gives me the most beautiful airbrush, flawless finish. So I'm going to pick a little bit up and see, it looks really, really light, but I promise you it will warm up and it will match.
Sort out all the lies, oh baby, yeah. There was a part of me that knew that, and still I'm caught by surprise. I thought you'd always be mine. I guess our dreams fell asleep. There's no passion in the comatose. Baby going down, 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 down. Baby going down, 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 down. Tried so hard to stay afloat. Yeah, we keep moving like the river goes. Baby going down, 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 down. Yeah. And I thought, it's time I'm letting you go. This time I know it for sure. I just thought I should let you know. Now, no words no more, no. I got so high on a low. That's when I loved you the most. Now I thought I should let you know.
Alright, so this is what we're looking like with just the foundation primers on, and I'm telling you, this finish is just beautiful. You can definitely still see some glow in my skin. Like I said, it's definitely not a flat matte foundation. It's very, very comfortable on the skin. I don't know, it's not one of those like heavy foundations where you just feel like you've got makeup on your face and just want to get off. It just melts right into your skin. So I cannot say enough good things about this. I just love the way it feels, the finish, the wear of it. It's so good, guys. For concealer, I've got a few here. When I really want my foundation, everything to stay all day, I would definitely go in with a more full coverage foundation or concealer. Tarte Shape Tape, Born This Way, and then the Huda Beauty are three of my favorites for that really full coverage concealer. So I think I'm just going to start out and put a little bit of the Huda Beauty right underneath my eyes. And it is a little light, but I do like it lighter, like right directly under my eyes. And then we'll put a darker concealer underneath it. So there's that. Now I'm going to go in with the Tarte Shape Tape in Light Medium Honey, just to kind of make sure it blends in with the foundation a little better, which I could probably go even darker than this. So I do that, and then between my eyes I go in with the Too Faced Born This Way, in the center of my face, in the shade Nude. And this is darker, so it's not so bright. I would go in with this underneath my eyes, but I just don't feel like it's as full coverage as the Tarte Shape Tape or the Huda Beauty one. So then I just go in and start blending the center of my face out first. And this concealer melts right in with the foundation. They work really, really well together. And then I blend out. I always like to let my concealer under my eyes sit a little bit longer. I feel like I get better coverage that way. I don't really know if it works or not. It's just what I've always done, as long as the concealer does not dry down really fast. And neither one of these do. So I'm okay to let it sit there for a minute. But do you see how like beautiful that is? We'll blend it out some more, but the coverage is definitely there. The blendability's there. It does not accentuate pores or anything like that. I used to have really, really, really large pores, and when I started, highlighting and contouring and all of that, I would try to bring my concealer down, but it would make my pores look so bad. So I've worked really hard, and now I'm able to, bring my concealer down without it looking crazy. So y'all know I love to cream contour. This is not something that y'all have to do unless y'all are just as adamant about it as I am. But I used to love the Chanel one, and it's too light. I wish they would come out with more shades in it, but Huda Beauty just released these Tantour. It's like bronze and contour cream, and it is so good. It's like a cream to powder finish. So it's not going to be slippery, it's not going to be oily, it's not going to add any more hydration. It's just a very, very nice cream contour, and I've actually already hit pan on mine. This is in the shade Light, and as y'all see, I do not have light skin. I'm a little more tan right now, but these, I got it in fair, light, medium, and tan. And light seems to work the best for me, so I would just pick accordingly. I have heard if you're really fair, the fair shade is really too warm for you guys. So this one's not as warm. It's kind of in between warm and cool. It just seems to work the best for me. So what I do, I just get a little bit of it out, and then I just start creating these illusions on my face. So I start out with my nose, and I draw two lines like that. And I always just let this set the longest, kind of like I do my concealer. So once I do that, I go in with my Morphe M449. I get a little bit of the product out, and then I just start chiseling out these cheekbones. And I just do kind of circular motions and then tapping motions. But it lays really, really nicely over top of this foundation. I think this just makes such a huge difference. And then when I go into powder contour, I don't have to use a whole lot. So once I get all of that on my face, I'll actually go over all of these edges and just make sure it blends in beautifully and I don't have any harsh lines. So then I'll go in with my Morphe M579. It's just like a flat contouring brush. It works beautifully for the nose, and I just do a few swipes like that and just make sure it's blended nicely. So now that I've got everything blended in, I always go over everything just to make sure that I don't have any creases, and I have hooded eyes, so my problem area for creasing is definitely my eyelids. To set everything in place and to bake, the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Bake and Setting Powder is like this. It's my favorite. I've raved about this on my channel so many times. It's just such a beautiful smoothing powder. The only thing I don't really care about is the scent, but it doesn't last. So I use this in the shade Pound Cake and Cupcake. Right now I'm using it in Cupcake. So then I get a little bit of that powder out, and then I just start baking and setting it underneath my eyes. And I always use my sponge wherever I put concealer, and it just really sets it in place. You're pressing the powder into your skin. So I've actually started, I used to only do this where I set my concealer, but here lately I have just been going over my entire face with the sponge like this. And I just feel like it makes my makeup last a little bit longer than it would if I just used a brush and swept it over my face. And it kind of makes sense because you're pressing the powder into your skin. And of course, if you have dry skin, this may be a little much for you, so you may be fine just dusting a little bit of powder. But my skin, it just gets super oily, especially with the weather. You know, it's getting really warm here. So I just really want to press this in there and make sure my makeup stays as long as it can. But I have found this powder to work the best for setting my makeup and for the longevity of it. I can definitely tell a difference. If I use a different setting powder, I just don't see my makeup lasting as long as it would if I would have just used this. And you can tell if you feel it, like everything feels smooth. You don't want it to feel wet or tacky, especially when you start going in with other powder products, bronzer, contour, highlight, all of that. It will look patchy. So it's very important that you lay like a thin layer of powder down, or you bake it and press it really into the skin. So then I always go back underneath my eyes and add a little bit more just to get ready for eyeshadow. So once I do that, I will actually go in and do my brows. So I'm going to pop off camera, fill in my brows, and then I will be back and I'll tell you what I do next. Alright, so now I've got my brows filled in. I just use Benefit's Precisely My Brow in shade number 3. I'm back on that. Alright, so once I get my brows on, I'll actually go ahead and do my eyes, but I'm going to do my eyes off camera. But I wanted to go back to the face. Now, since y'all know I have oily skin, I always go in with a foundation powder. I was obsessed with the Makeup Forever Pro Finish, but they are actually doing away with that. So I have found another powder that I really enjoy, and it is the Charlotte Tilbury, the Airbrush Flawless Finish. I actually go in with 2 of these. It is not necessary. You do not have to do that. But I just like the contrast it gives me and that extra little bit of powder. It really does help. And this doesn't add, it doesn't cake up. It doesn't look, you know, heavy or makeup-y. So I take a little powder brush with shade 2 first. And then I just go in the center of my face with this shade. And especially like over my pores, I always get really shiny right here in my T-zone area. So I use the light powder in these areas, down the center of my nose, my lip, chin, and then I go underneath here. And I do that on both sides. So now once I have that on, I'll go in with shade number 3, which is a little bit darker. And this is what it looks like. And then I put that over where we put the cream contour. Just for that extra little bit of coverage and powder. And then I'll also get it on the sides of my nose with this darker powder. So now once I have my powder on, I will go in with powder contour, and I have been loving Huda bronzer again. This is just the original, and I will take that on my Morphe R10, and I just pick a little bit up. This is such a nice universal contour shade. So then I will just do this, and I'm not too precise with the powder contour. I just kind of hit this part of my face. And then I will just go ever so slightly around the perimeters, not a lot because I like to bronze up that area. Then I'll take on the fluffy side of my Luxie 182, and I get a little bit of that out and just do one swipe there and one swipe here. Not too much. I don't like a harsh nose contour. And for bronzer, I love the Guerlain Terracotta bronzer. I feel like it wears so nicely with my skin. It doesn't get patchy. It doesn't break apart. It doesn't look crazy. Once my oils start coming through, it really stays in place. I love the longevity of this bronzer. So I just go in with my JH02 and I just start bronzing up. So that is what the bronzer looks like. Oh no, I love this bronzer. So I'm going to go ahead and pop off camera. I'm going to finish up my eyes, and then I'm going to come back and show you what I use to set my face. And that is the last thing. It's very, very, very important that you set your makeup in place. When I first started really getting into makeup and trying to figure out how to control my oils, I did not think setting spray would work. I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like it would make me a lot more shiny and oily, but I'm telling you guys, setting spray means everything when you want your makeup to stay. So I'm going to go ahead, pop off camera, finish up my eye look, and then I will be back in the end and show you how I complete this look. So I'll see you guys here in just a second. Alright guys, so I just finished up my eyes and threw on some blush and highlight. That doesn't matter, whatever blush and highlight you like. I really do enjoy the Buxom Primer Infused Blush. I feel like they really last a long time. So if you're on the hunt for a new blush, I would definitely check those out. So the last step in my makeup routine, which is really one of the most important, is setting your makeup in place. So, especially if you have oily skin or whatever, you know, the weather, you want your makeup to stay looking fresh for as long as it possibly can. So, when I first started trying out all these products, trying to come up with like the perfect concoction with, you know, mixture of different products, I was using the Huda Beauty, the Resting Boss Face Setting Spray. This stuff will really, really, really make your makeup last all day. It's so nice. There is the, it's like a type of alcohol that's in here that is really, really not good for your skin. When I first got this, I was wearing it every single day, and then I started doing a little research. It's just really not good for you to wear on a daily basis. So I would suggest picking this one up. The scent is a little overpowering, but it does work, and it does wear off about 45 minutes or an hour after you apply it. The scent does. But I don't know. If you want to wear this, I would. It's really mattifying and it's really going to lock everything in. It's not going to budge for a long time. Like, this really made my makeup last all day. But Tatcha just released a new setting spray. This is the Satin Skin Mist. And actually in the bottom, there is powder. So you have to shake it up. And this is like a powder, I don't know how to explain it. It's a balancing liquid powder for normal to oily skin. So I have been loving this since I've picked it up, and I've actually already picked up a backup. It is so good. This holds up the same way this does. So this, of course, is a little bit cheaper, but like I said, it's just not as good for you, especially if you want to wear this on an everyday basis. So that's why I'm deciding to go in with this one today. It works just as good, if not better. So I'm going to go ahead, and the mister on this, you guys, is so fine. Sometimes I don't even feel like it's getting on my skin. But anyway, I'm just going to shake it really, really good. And let's just spritz the face. And my handy dandy fan, and just make sure it is set down all the way. But I don't know, I feel like I've already used like half of this bottle just because I don't feel like it's getting on my face because the mist is so fine. But you just want to make sure it's covered every area of your face, and just make sure everything is set down. And it makes my pores look so good, guys. And I promise you, if y'all follow this, you'll be amazed at how well your makeup will last. So this is the completed look. This is the foundation routine that I do when I know I'm going to be out for a long time. I want my makeup looking good. And it's just held up nicely with my oily face in this warm weather. I've just really found this to be the best concoction so far. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you all learned a little bit of something. And yes, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you are not subscribed already, of course, I would love nothing more than to have you a part of my little family here on YouTube. And if you want, you can hit that little post notification bell so you are notified of all my future uploads. And again, thank you for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in my next ones. Bye!